final last commandment. Number one problem that I see in shops is tool diameter upkeep. So it's amazing that you can manually calibrate a tool set in 2 hours, 3 hours, right? If you're good. And it's great that you got a machine to do it for you. It's even better, it's more accurate. But if you do no upkeep, commonly enough, it doesn't matter. Because if your finger bit wears out and the machine thinks that the finger bit is 25 millimeters, but it's really 22, then you got 3 millimeters, right? That's 1.5 millimeters. Eventually it becomes 2 millimeters quick. That's 2 millimeters extra you're leaving for the Super Z. So the Super Z is already taking out a lot of stuff. But now it's got 2 millimeters more, which is about 1/10 of an inch that it has to take out more. That's going to deform the heck out of the Super Z. And then they don't calibrate. You don't upkeep the Super Z. The Super Z is leaving too much because the finger bit left too much. The Super Z is now leaving too much. And then the ease edge is getting beat up, that position 1. And then all of a sudden you got lines and waves on the face. And then position 3, 4, 5, and 6 are like, these tools suck. But not completely. That's not completely true, right? So we're going to go over tool diameter upkeep. What are the tools that are usually the most important? Finger bit, Super Z, ease edge. Whatever you're going to be using to polish your sinks. So I'm going to make the example here with just the finger bit. So the finger bit, okay, this is going to open up 4 more holes, and then you got to replace it. Once it starts getting to be an apple core, it's not worth it to keep the finger bit and try to do more holes. Get rid of it, put on another one. You'll be better off because it's going to maintain the life of all the other tools, which collectively are way more expensive than a finger bit. A Super Z and an ease edge set is approximately like $4,000. The finger bit's $100. So instead of, if you're going to get 70% of its life out of it without it turning into an apple core for the $30 extra life on the finger bit, don't mess up the $4,000 with the tools. So here, I'm going to grab this and I'm going to measure this. Okay, right around. Okay, and I'm going to grab my fingers here snug on the caliper, and it's reading right now 17.5. Now, I'm going to grab it in 3 spots around the finger bit. 17.63. And last but not least, 17.9. So between those 3, I'm going to go 17.65. Now we're going to go look inside. Come over here. You're going to come here to the machine. And we're going to go tools. We're going to come here to the finger bit. Okay, just one click on the finger bit here. And we're going to go to edit. What does that say? So we came up with, in real life, 17.65. It's a little bit off. 2.5 millimeters is less than 1/8. Divided by 2, right? Because that's the diameter. So you got to take off half here and half here. Okay, so it's off by about a 1/16th, but that's a 1/16th extra material that it's leaving. So we want to do this more frequently, and we want to go 17.65. Easy peasy, save. I'm done. That took us a total of 1 minute, right? So now we're going to do that for the Super Z and the ease edge set that we're going to test out. But those are the 5 commandments, ladies and gentlemen. Stick to those, and ye shall be safe. Okay? Sides that are identical. The bottom of it,
repeat that again,
to the end. The length is always measured. Now, this is another conversation that we'll have for here. When you're doing tool length measurements, you have 2 types of tools that you have to distinguish in your mind. One is called a top tool, and the other one is called a lateral tool or side tools. So what is the distinction between the 2? The milling wheel is a top tool because when it comes on the software, it comes down from the top and it mills. And the center line of the actual piece is the center line of the tool. Okay, makes sense? A blade, when you're doing cutting, is a top tool. Comes from the top. Core bit is a top tool. Leathering attachment is a top tool. Okay, sorry. So all the tooling that comes from the top and works from the top on the center line of its spindle is a top tool. All the tools that come from the side or laterally, like the finger bit, or like the Super Z, or like all the edge profiles that there are called side tools because they go down to the level of the granite and then they come in on a tangent approach from the side. Okay? So when you're doing a side tool, you have to do the right length and the diameter. But on top tools, you never care about the diameter. The diameter is done in the software, like the leathering attachment, because it's going to follow the center line. It doesn't get bumped off of the center line because of its diameter. See what I'm saying? So this is always going to be from the bottom of the wafer. The finger bit is a side tool. From the bottom of the wafer, you measure length. Now, how do I measure an edge tool? Can somebody put this back and grab me a edge tool? Perfect. Oh, you guys do have the big diameter ones. Yeah. Oh, we could have programmed this on the. We can program the this set to do the big radius, so we can go faster on the sink if you want. We can make that thickness now. Great. So just want you guys to see, how do you do this? When you're doing the first one, you're going to measure from the bottom of the wafer to the bottom of where the profile ends. Okay, which is right there. That's where the profile ends. That would be the length of this top position. If this is position 2, they got position 1 on the bottom. They got it inverted. Usually position 1's on the top. Now, if I were to measure the length of this tool, I'd still go from the top from the bottom of the wafer, but now I'm going to bring this down to the bottom of where the profile ends on this tool, which is 87.33. Okay, that's how you measure profile length. It's not at the bottom of the tool. I don't care about the bottom of the tool here. What I care is the bottom of where the profile ends, because that's what's going to come in when it's polished face down to be my line that matches the face of the stone. Does that make sense? And that's what is very useful on the tool setting machines for the first time calibration.